Good morning, Chris Whelan from the Center of Business Excellence, Building Better Businesses. Today, I want to talk to you about building better teams, and in particular, how to deal with poor performance on your team. Imagine a situation where you as a business owner or as the team leader obviously engage with your team. The team drives the customer engagement. Customers obviously spend money, and that circle, if you like, drives the business and gives you the return you want. So that is the circle that we're going to be talking about. But the first thing that happens in this situation, if someone on the team isn't performing properly, that circle breaks down. So that's point number one. If the team doesn't perform properly, that circle breaks. Consequences is that you're not meeting your customer needs. That's obviously a problem. The systems you've got in place aren't working. Also a problem that's going to lead to decreased profit, right? Because you're going to have rework. You're going to have to go, a job that should take you 3 days or 4 days ends up taking you a week or 2 weeks. So you've got rework to be done. The buying systems, the procurement systems aren't working because the person's not entering the goods, or they're not putting everything onto the bill of materials. I've seen that happen. I'll tell you about that in a moment. So your profit goes down. Profit goes down, of course, it sets in your mind you're not getting the return you want. But the other thing that it does, the third thing, is that your team sees it. It infects the whole team. If you've got one bad apple in the batch, it infects the whole team because they see the behavior that's been accepted, that's been allowed, and then they think, well, why should they work hard if someone else is not? So 3 things: it breaks the circle, customers don't get what they want, the systems don't work, your profit goes down because of rework, because of lack of adherence to those systems, and of course, that bad behavior affects the whole team. What's the converse of that, the opposite of that, of good performance? Well, firstly, it absolutely does infect the whole team. Imagine a situation where if you're playing rugby, depending on what part of the world you're in, either your fly-half or your first 5'8" plays a great game. He or she comes to the party and they really work hard. The whole backline flourishes. The whole team flourishes, right? Because someone's putting in, they know their role, they're doing it to the best of their ability. The whole team flourishes. So that also affects or infects the whole team, but it infects them in a positive way. So that's a massive bonus from good performance. It's not really a bonus, it's how it should be. The second thing is, of course, that the person themselves grow both personally and professionally. They can have new opportunities, they can set new goals, they can get to the next level. So good performance feeds itself, right? And it feeds that good performance. It builds and builds and builds. And of course, the third thing is the bottom line improves. Firstly, on every single job, your gross profit's going to improve because the person is sticking to the system. They are working hard for the customer. And then, of course, that filters through over many jobs to end of year profit. So really positive stuff. And it all starts from that good apple, bad apple conversation inside of your team. A quick story which might illustrate this. I'm working with a trade business at the moment where at least one person on the team was really just seemingly not motivated to do the job that they were employed to do. Now, a couple of things came through there. One, you could turn around and say, well, you need to get rid of the person, and sometimes that does happen. It's not to get rid of them, but they need to find other things that actually do motivate them. What we did in that situation, though, was to work with them, sat them down. The business owner sat down with the staff member and said, look, he knew that the person can absolutely be a star performer. It's going to take certain things. It's going to take certain behaviors because they were good previously and something changed in their motivation. So every week, sat down with the person, said, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to monitor this performance. We're going to do A, B, and C, check those things on a daily basis. You're going to plan before you go home today. You're going to plan for tomorrow. You're going to send me that list. They did that. And through that behavior, it was a 90-day plan, really. Through that 90 days, the person's behavior did change. Their motivation did change, and they're back performing where they need to. Now, look, that doesn't always work. Sometimes, sometimes workers decide that actually it's not worth it. They're not prepared to put the effort in. They're not prepared to put the pain in to go through the growth, and they leave. Now, you might think that that's bad, but actually the business wins anyway, because what happens is the rest of the team looks at it and says, well, hang on, that behavior wasn't acceptable. The atmosphere lifts because that negative environment has been taken away. So the business wins anyway if the person leaves in that case and they pursue other things. And of course, if they do change their performance and they improve, the business wins as well. So the point is, there's three key things that I want to speak to you about this morning. And if you like, lessons coming out of that. One, the first thing, when you're dealing with people that aren't performing your team, there's 3 things that I always recommend. Assume the best intent. For the most part, 99% of people want to improve. They want to do the best they can. So absolutely, in your head, make that assumption that the person you're dealing with actually wants to do well. Assume the best intent. Secondly, check their capacity, right? Do they have the tools? Do they have the time? Do they have the daily tasks? Are they overloaded? Because if they are, that's up to you, right? Sort out, make sure they've got the capacity. And then the third thing is, do they have the capability? Have you trained them? Have they got the right skills and as a training capability to do the job? So that's the first thing. Assume best intent, check the capacity, make sure they've got the right capability. Actually, three things, I suppose. The second key lesson is that problems, when they're not dealt with, don't go away. They come back and they tend to bite you in the bum, right? Problems, if you don't deal with them, don't go away. They get worse. So why am I saying that? Go back to the example of the trade business. They had let the behavior go over a period of time, and then it took 90 days to resolve. If they'd addressed it immediately, it would have taken less, right? So that's the first thing. Problems that you don't deal with don't go away. They bite you in the bum. The third thing is that inspect what you expect, right? So if you behave in a certain way, or you allow certain behavior, if you expect certain behavior, make sure that you managing that and monitoring it on a daily basis. Because if you don't, what you don't manage will simply go away, get worse. Then I guess the fourth thing, I was going to say three, but there's probably a fourth thing. And the fourth thing is that you as the business owner, you as a team leader are the one that's ultimately responsible for performance. Performance is a system in a business. It's not some magical formula. It's a system of performance. Get the system set up and then manage that system. If you don't, you need to look at yourself as well. And I'm sorry to be as harsh as that, but you need to look at yourself, because yes, poor performance, we can blame other people, but we need to look at ourselves first and say, what are we allowing? What systems have we put in place to help people perform well? If we get those things right, performance improves. And bear in mind, final thing, the issue of performance improvement is that the whole team lifts up, right? We've said already, the whole team lifts up. The gross profit, the net profit get better, your return gets better, people's personal development gets better, and the culture and environment gets better, as does the customer service. So huge, huge opportunities there. And it all starts from, as I say, individual performance. If you'd like to know more, give me a shout, DM me, drop me an email, give me a call, and let's see what we can do in your business if there are things that you want to change with your team. All the very best. Have a fantastic day and enjoy your week. Bye-bye.